Okay, everybody, if I can have everybody's attention. Sorry, I'll try not to. Okay, I'll try not to hold it so close to me. Can you hear me? I need for everyone to take their seats here. We're getting ready to go. If I could have everyone take their seat, please. Dale McCarty Jr., Bob Baker, Terry Lose, get out. Okay. Does everybody have a seat? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Karen Darling. I am the president of Central Racing Boosters Hall of Fame and Museum. I would like to welcome everyone here, and I would like to congratulate. Oh, can't hear. Can you hear me now, Jody? Okay. Okay. I don't know if I'm not going to start over, but anyway, I want to congratulate our 10 inductees. It's a very good process that we go through, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it here in a minute. But anyway, I want to thank some people first. Sorry, can't get my phone out of my pocket. Okay, first of all, I'm going to call up my board, which helped me put all this on together. Well, it's not me, it's all of us. So as I call my board's name, I would like for you to come up and stand, please. Okay, so like I said, I am the president. My vice president is J.D. Cormack. Up, up, up. And you guys that know me from racing, when I say get up, you get up. So, okay, my treasurer is Brian Jackson. My secretary is Brenda Johnson. Okay, my board members are Marla Christie, Ray Cunningham, Rick Darling, John Lane, Teresa Osman, T.O., Jerry Potter.
I'm leaving.
Oh. Rick's been messing with nosebleed all day long, so. Okay, and then Darren Woodward. Okay, these are the people that work very hard to get things going here. We do a lot of stuff. This is our main thing. This is our main fundraiser here. But I just want to thank them personally for helping me set up, get this going, working with the programs, the sponsors, all that stuff. And I just want to tell them that they do an excellent job. And if you could give them a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. Okay. You guys are the best. So, okay, you can go now. Okay. Okay, so at this time I want to explain the process of how you got here, how the 10 inductees got here. First of all, someone nominates you, okay? When that person nominates you, it comes to us. It has to get to us before the 1st of September of the year that it goes in. Like, they had to have it in by the 1st of September 23 for you guys to get in. Then that's handed in to us, and then we take it and we find out information about our inductee. We try to get everything that we can. We have a program, and in the program there's a little story that Ray Cunningham put together for us, trying to tell the history of what you've done. And then the book, the notebook, is something that we kind of get the pictures and all that stuff, kind of put it together for you. We do that all for you. The program also, where people buy the program, and by the way, if there's any programs left, they're $5. It tells all about our inductees, what they did, how they got here, and all that. Okay, that comes in, we get all that going. Okay, the people that vote for you is the living inductees, past inductees, which is your old timers that are here like John Backlund, Ray Boyles, Tim Carrick actually voted this year. And then, you know, these are past inductees that are in the Hall of Fame. Okay, it's them, it's the board of directors that you just met, and then we have 8 to 10 people that are selected that know about the history of Missouri and Kansas racing. We send a ballot to them, they vote, they have to vote for at least 1 and up to 8. Okay, if they do not follow instructions like they're supposed to, it's thrown out. So in other words, if they vote for 9, it doesn't count. But hopefully here lately it hasn't happened because we've stressed to them they have to count their stuff. Okay, we send it out, we put a number, serial number on the envelope and on their ballot and make sure that it comes back. When it comes back to us, we hold a meeting 1st of December. This goes out the 1st of November and has to be back in by the end of November. Then we have a meeting. These envelopes are sealed. They are not open until this meeting. And then 3 of the board members, which is usually the board, what we do is we take the envelope, we check to make sure that the name and the serial number matches, that they have signed them, and like I said, either 1 vote or up to 8 votes. And then we read out loud to everyone that's there. There's people that come, anybody can come, and they help tally the votes for us. And the top 8 that get the votes, they are our inductees for that year. So congratulations, guys, that's how you got here. Guys, actually, it's an honor. It's an honor for your peers or people that think of you to nominate you. So just hang in there, you know, and we do, you can either go onto our website, C.A.R.B.halloffame.com. There are forms on there for nominating someone. It tells you who can, it's anybody. It's a driver, it's an official, it's a tech person, it's, you know, someone that has helped us preserve racing, that has done something for racing and kept it going. Our main thing is that we are here to preserve what you guys have done. That's how we get these books, how we talk to you about what's going on, and that's how you are gone. We have, I believe it's 171 inductees. We started in 2000 and, well, we became official 501c3 December of 2012, and we have inducted that many people since then. So congratulations. Tonight I would like for all of my past inductees to stand for us, please. If I have to name you off, I will. Tim, look there, Tim Carrick's first one. Okay? All righty. Okay, I'm going to tell you who they are. The first gentleman here, right here, is Joe Kosiski. Joe, okay? The next one is Fred Goober Renault, okay? The next one is Tim Carrick. Lonnie Farley was inducted last year. I don't have any of them here, okay? I have Larry McCowan from the McCowan brothers. I have Junior Parkinson. I have Judy Weld, which is Jerry Weld's wife. She is here. I have Fred Broski, okay? I have Jerry Potter. I have Jerry Colbert. Wait, Jerry. I have Jerry Stone. Well, we have a lot of Jerrys, don't we? We have Huey, Anthony. We have John Lane. We have John Baker that's on the phone and waved at me. We have Ray Boyles. We have Skip Richardson. We have Tom Charles. And we do have some women in this Hall of Fame. Miss Dixie Castor. Debbie Bergman. I have Virgil Chapman. Our famous flagman, Mr. Terry Watland. Gary Truelove. In the back there with his head down is Darren Christie. Then I have Rick Darling, which in case y'all don't know, that's my other half. I have Dale McCarty. I have Bob Baker. And last we have Mr. John Backlund. So, and I am also in the Hall of Fame. So, But, oh, and Mike Kraft, well, he wasn't standing. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm not going to take up much more of your time, but I just wanted to explain how that was done. We do have a Hall of Fame in a Hall of Fame. In case you guys don't know it, we are with the Hall of Fame Kansas City Automotive Museum out in Olathe, Kansas. We have a display set up out there with cars and all. It tells the history about what our inductees are. Over here to my left, there is all of our inductees. That's how many we have in here. It's their pictures and the year they got inducted. We have trophies and stuff like that they have donated to us for our Hall of Fame. That's a good place to look for stuff. Up here we have plaques. These are at the Hall of Fame in Olathe. Each inductee has their name on the plaque from when we started in 2004 to up to this year. We also have our pioneers. They are on the smaller plaque because we just started on them. But these are out at the museum. We switch cars out there all the time. We have had Tom Charles' car out there. We've had, who else has been out there that's here? We've had, who? Yeah, Bernie Culvert's car is out there right now. We've had sprint cars, we've had modifieds, we've had late models, we've had them all. So if you have a car that you would like to put out in the museum, we trade out, usually we try to trade out every 6 months. It's there. We have a lot of people that go through there, and they keep telling us that whenever people go through the museum, they are in our exhibit longer than they are the rest of it. But anyway, you're more than welcome to go out there. I'm sorry it cost you money, $9 to get in, whatever, but please, if you get a chance, try to go out there and see it. Okay. We also have an ambassadorship. JD, you want to come up and talk a little bit about that? JD and T.O. are in charge of that. Okay, and if you want to see the plaques and the people that have donated, those plaques are back there in that corner. So, okay, we also have 50/50 tickets for sale. We have programs, I don't know how many we have left. They're $5. We have t-shirts with their 20, they start at 20, 25. Then we have photos. Brenda, where are you at? Brenda's back there in the back. We have a photo session set up back there that you can take a family picture, inductee pictures with your group that is here. They are, what is it? How much is it, Brenda? $5 for an 8x10. It's $5 for an 8x10. Okay? Anybody can take a picture. Okay, so tonight, okay, I'm almost done. Tonight, how the program goes is we have 10 inductees, so we will do 5 before dinner and 5 after dinner. So as you come up, the person that is going to present you the plaque will come up also, and then my person that is accepting the plaque comes up. Please come up on either side of the stage and talk to you up here, okay? At this time, I want to introduce you to Mr. Kirk Elliott. He is our MC. He's been our MC for how many years? How many years? Oh, he don't know.
Not all 20, but most of them. I'll say that. I don't know.
You'll understand why he's our MC when he starts talking. He's also like us. He does a thorough search on you as to what He will read about you. He does an excellent job. So at this time, again, congratulations, inductees. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And if you need anything, guess holler at me. So here you go. Thank you, Kirk.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad to have you. What a great turnout here tonight. Man, awesome. Well, we've got 10 inductees going into our 20th class of the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame, and one is going into the Pioneer class, which normally happens once every 10 years, but since we had the COVID pandemic in 2020, we got a little catching up to do in the Pioneer class, so we're inducting, even though this is 2024, we're inducting one member into the Pioneer class of the Hall of Fame tonight, and that's going to be our first inductee this evening, Albert G. Bozart, Alfred G. Bozart, into the Pioneer class of the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Al Bozart was born during World War I in 1917 at the age of 21. A chance encounter with future Hall of Famers Ben Harleman and Oliver Jennings at a gas station led to Al's passion for midget racing, which lasted as an owner and or mechanic for 52 years. When he passed in 1996 living in Kansas City, a racing legacy in midget racing from the 1930s until the 1990s was secured. Al would race over the seasons with drivers that included C.A.R.B Hall of Famer inductees Scotty Scoble, Eddie McVeigh, John Backlund, Jimmy McVeigh, Gene Jennington, as well as KC's Joe Walter, Bill Burdick, Candyman Curtis, Indy 500 four-time champ New Mexico's Al Unser, Kansas legend John Yonke, and Bob Spees. Bozart won and competed in races from Missouri to Florida, with many stops in between, including Kansas, Colorado, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, and Oklahoma, among other states. Jim McVeigh states that he was a shift leader at TWA for 43 years and developed into an excellent welder and mechanic, working on and owning midgets powered by the Flathead Ford, Corvair, Falcon, and the Chevy 2. McVeigh said that he utilized these motors in his midgets because of the expense involved in having the Offie and later the Sesco motors. And with that being said, Bozart's cars were always competitive and won races at tracks including Riverside, Olympic, Hill City, and Butler, which was documented in Bill Hill's book, One Tough Circuit. One of Bozart's biggest victories came with Jim McVeigh in the mid-1970s at Riverside in the Mike Hill Memorial Race. It was one of 4 victories in this prestigious event for Bozart. He raced with future legend Al Unser Sr. in Colorado with the RMMRA and John Backlund at Daytona Stadium in Florida. Another big accomplishment for the KC 2019 came when a new car was utilized at the Belleville High Banks on their preliminary night of the Nationals. The Bozart machine set fast time, won the heat and dash, as well as a third place go in the A feature. Over the years, Al Bozart and his number 29 midgets competed in KCM, ARA, MCA, SLARA, USAC, and Swims, among other clubs. The number 29 was very significant to Al. At the time it was first used, the 2 would represent son Alan's age, with the 9 his daughter Donna's age, and together 29 the age of his wife Vivian. This was a family that very much supported Al during his racing years, and now he's going into the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame tonight. Here to accept the Hall of Fame award is Al's son Alan Bozart, and presenting the award tonight on behalf of C.A.R.B, Martha McVeigh. Please come forward. Alfred G. Bozart. And want to stand over here? Maybe is there a couple of pictures being taken? Or we can do that. We can do that after we talk with.
And then turn it. You hold the book, hand the flash, and then turn around where everybody can see it. There you go. Where's Brenda? Got it?
Okay.
She is our also, not only being a board member, she's also our photographer that keeps all this going.
Okay. All right. Al, boy, congratulations. Big moment for the Bozarth family.
Yes, sir, it is. It's an honor and a privilege.
Okay, your fondest memory of your dad?
Ooh, that's a rough one. I got so many, but there's several. I mean, I can start out on how he got involved with racing. He was born and raised in a blacksmith shop. His dad ran a blacksmith shop, and that's how he became a craftsman. And he had two brothers, and they used to take Model A's and Model T's and strip the body off of them, and they'd race each other. And his racing bug got started in that area. After he graduated high school, he came to Kansas City, worked at a bank shortly, and then he decided he wanted to go to work at the airlines. So he went to work at the airlines, and the war hit, and he was one of 5 chosen to work for the government on secret missions and fly the B-17s. And then he did that during the war, and after the war, he went back for TWA and airline business. I guess one of the biggest accomplishments is putting 43 years in the airline industry, and to me, that's one accomplishment because I kind of followed his suit. I put exactly 43 years in with the airline myself, so it's a coincidence, but that's the way it worked out. So it's kind of an honor to look back and see that both of us put 43 years in aviation. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, well, how did that translate into, being a race? Did he do that before he became a race car driver, or was it the other way around?
No. Well, when he came after high school and came to Kansas City and went to work for the airlines, it's documented here in the booklet, but he was going down Truman Road, and he ran into Ben Harleman and Oliver Jennings. And for years, he went out to Oliver's and helped Oliver build midgets. And he took all of Oliver's junk, and that's how he got his first car. He straightened it out, pieced the car together, and finally got his own and took off. But I would say going down Truman Road is how he got interested in midget racing and hanging out with Ben Harleman and Oliver Jennings. And it's like a disease, as you know, all racers, it gets in your blood and you can't get rid of it. You're hooked. So anyway, that's about all I can tell you on that end of it. But he enjoyed it. He was proud. If anybody loved racing, he definitely loved racing.
And just what's this mean to the Bozarth family, just in closing? Al's been gone for a number of years now. Just after these many years since we've lost Al, just what this means to the Bozarth family.
Well, it means a lot. It means a little bit of everything, and we're proud of the fact that he finally got some recognition of something for all these efforts and years that he put into. He broke in a lot of drivers in the car. A lot of them are no longer here, but there's still a few, like John Backlund and a few others, But there's not too many that are probably really remembering, But then again, there are a few probably know and everything like that. But it's just an honor to realize that he got recognition, and I know he's up there looking down with a big smile on his face.
Well, congratulations on behalf of the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There he is. Al Bozarth, ladies and gentlemen. Alfred G. Bozarth into the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Jamie Hager is next. Growing up in a racing family that featured his father Jim, Jamie Hager, nicknamed CJ Charger Jr., was one of the top late model and later modified drivers in the KC area from the 1980s into the 1990s. A racing accident would lead Hager to an equally successful career as a crew member while helping future NASCAR stalwarts Clint Boyer and another Jamie McMurray, during the second stage of his racing career, and more recently, Tim Carrick. Big part of Tim's race team. Back to Jamie's career behind the wheel, Hager would win the Most Improved Driver Award on dirt, racing a late model at Lakeside in 1980 and Riverside in 1981. Charger Jr. would then charge his way to the Riverside Track Championship in 1983, and then later switch to the pavement for more stellar results, running at the new Lakeside Speedway and the High Bank I-70 Speedway in the modifieds. Among his accomplishments at those local speed plants, Hager would win both track titles in one season in 1991. A great accomplishment at both facilities, had their unique qualities. Hager wasn't done winning titles and would win another championship the next season at I-70, racing with a signature number 9. This was a way to honor the legacy of his father Jim. The 9 came to be his number after adding his dad's racing digits 171 together one digit at a time, 1 + 7 + 1. This occurred because in NASCAR racing, they did not allow 3-digit numbers on race cars. Jamie Hager would become a stalwart on the pavement at Lakeside and I-70, winning 50 features between the two venues, 33 at I-70 and 17 at Lakeside. During his versatile career, Hager was one of the top racers in the greater Kansas City area. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome Jamie Hager into the Hall of Fame. To present the award to Jamie tonight is Hall of Famer Joe Kosiski. Let's welcome to the stage the newest member of the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame, Jamie Hager. All right, Jamie, let's stand over here where everybody can see us here. Congratulations, man. What's this mean to you?
Means a lot. Means a lot. Been a long time.
And we remember, you know, your dad went into the Hall. I think it was like in the, second class of the Hall of Fame?
I don't know when that was. I know I got
Long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Just what was his influence on you?
Oh, racing, winning, racing. That's all I was doing. That's all I wanted to do. So he got me going, and actually he didn't have much faith in me when I first started. He was, Huey back there, he kind of took me in and said, your dad don't, he said to me, he says, your dad says, I don't think you're going to make a racer. Huey says, yeah, he is, Jim. Just got to give it time. My dad says, I don't think I got that much time. So that made me, that put a fire under my ass. So I had to get going then. You know, I had some great, Goober built some great cars. We had a lot of fun. It was a blast.
Yeah, let's talk about all the people that's helped you out along the way. Not only your dad, you mentioned Huey and Goober, and you know, there's a lot of people here in Kansas City to make it all happen.
Yes, a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of sponsors, good people. My family's all here, and they always went out there. My sister, every time somebody booed me, she was wanting to beat them up. So, which they didn't boo me too often. The only reason they hated me because I won too much.
All right, let's talk about Tim Carrick there. You've been hanging around with him for a long time now. Just what's it mean to be with Tim Carrick?
That means a lot. We've been friends for 50-some years. We was kids, and we had our up and downs. We kind of lost faith in him, and he loves getting down on himself a couple years ago because Tim Carrick don't get lapped at Lakeside, and that was happening. So we had to do something different, and he went to work and studied a lot of things. A lot of people helped him, and I was kind of away from it because you got to stay up with that technology, and he was on it. But I'm proud of him. But he done good. But I do got one story to tell about him. Our last night of the season, we're racing for a championship. Double features. He brings out this the Tonka toy, I call it. It's the B-Mod. No disrespect to B-Mod drivers, but we didn't need a jack with that. He's over there tearing the shit out of it. Dry shaft. We got to win the first feature, and the dry shaft, he got it all tore up. So I'm laying over there fixing the dry shaft, and I looked over at the A-Mod. Got a big puddle of oil under it. So, oh, no, it's leaking. Something's leaking. So I went over there. The real main seal's leaking. So I went over. He's working on the B-Mod. He looked, and I said, Tim, got oil leak. He looked at me like, So I went over and tightened up the bolts, and I siliconed it. While I'm laying underneath there, the right rear axle seal's leaking. So I'm getting there quick. And he says, Tim, I said, the seal's leaking. There's no sealing. He says, what do you mean it's just sealing in? Well, the seal came out of the hub and was laying on the snout. He says, well, I don't know. And he says, look at my two-barrel. I said, I don't give two about that two-barrel. So anyway, he gets in the car, and he gets ready. He says, are we good to go? I said, well, as long as we don't run out of oil and the right rear hub falls off, we should be good. So needless to say, he went out and won the championship, which we needed it because we ain't had one in a long time. So he keeps going. He's going to be a pain in the ass in the B-Mods too. I'm just letting all you guys B-Mod drivers know now. Be prepared now.
Hey, you're pretty good on the pavement. Were you a better pavement racer than dirt or better dirt than pavement?
No, I was good on both. Good. Just put him in front of me. I was going to chase him down. It didn't matter. It was good. I got, Ed, he helped me for a long time. Mike Goodwin. There's so many people that's made this possible. Jeff Cassidy, he's here somewhere. He's right there. My family, my two daughters. This is special. And I do got one story to tell about this guy. I got a picture of him, Joe.
I got to tell you the whole story about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell it.
Here, I'll let Joe tell it.
I got to tell you this story. Jamie come up when he first started racing. He says, I'm going to make you retire because he says, I'm going to start winning all the races. And I said, okay, have at it. And about a year later, he brings up this picture, real nice 8x10 picture. He says, see that picture? He says, you see that car that's in front of you? He says, it's getting the checkered flag first before you. And I says, Jamie, I remember that night so vividly. I says, that was the third time I was going to lap you.
Oh, that is awesome. Joe Kosinski, folks. Hey, you drove for Larry Phillips one time, too. I've been asked, what's your favorite Larry Phillips story?
Well, the favorite Larry Phillips, the day I drove for him, we was at I-70, I was driving his backup car, and we was hot lapping, and O'Neill was one of the hot shoes back there. Well, hell, I'm chasing him down. I'm thinking, I'm going to pass this guy. So I get under him out of turn 2, and I spin out down the back straightaway in Larry's car. Dust is flying, the dust is flying, the dirt's flying, and I get out of the car, and Larry's over there leaning against his car smoking a cigarette, and he was pissed. Because I spotted all 4 tires, and he says, I told you, son, just to take it easy. I said, Larry, but I had a chance to pass John. He says, I don't care, you just sit here and ride. Tonight. I need car count, I need for you just to finish this race. And he had James, his crew chief, take gear out of it, put 4 old tires on it, and I still ran 7th, but Larry was good. He helped me at Lakeside one night too, but I-70, we were struggling, and he says, he came over to me, he's watching me, I didn't know all this was happening, but he says, hey man, what do you got in that car for springs? I said, 200, 175. He said, well, you're tight in the corner, He said, put a 200 in and take 1 turn out of it. That's all he said to me. And we took off after that. So Larry was a good guy. He always helped me, and then I got to drive his car, but I only got to drive it once.
He was a legend.
Yes, he was. He was good.
Final thoughts of what this means for you to go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, this is cool. My dad's in it. I mean, it's awesome. I've been sitting there banging my knees. I've been nervous as hell before I came up here. My palms are sweating, but it's been Joe. Tom Charles. Hold on a second here.
Can't forget about Tom.
No, I can't, because he was helping me get in. He got me into this thing, and I do got a story to talk about him. But back when I was racing young and not very intelligent back then. I was just running wild, but I would stay at his house after the races late a few times. So one night I had a few adult beverages, and I decided he had to get up early. He was early as a worker, so I pulled around there with my troop band, my truck, trailer, and race car, and pulled up next to his Benadryl window, and I fired it up. He come running out there. You ever seen a rooster in tight whiteies? He was pissed. Needless to say, I've never done that again. Yeah, so that was good. That was a good story. He's got a couple other ones, but Karen told me I got to keep everything clean. So it was good. It was good.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys all for coming. Thank you.
Jamie Hager, ladies and gentlemen, he's the newest member of the Hall of Fame. How about that? Go ahead, Karen.
I forgot to tell you guys that Mike Kraft here is in the middle, and he's filming this, and it's supposed to be live on Facebook. So if you could go back later, and you can see how many mistakes we make here and how goofy we are. But Mike, thank you for doing video.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Hall of Famer Mike Kraft. Appreciate you doing what you do. Let's move on to our third inductee into the Hall of Fame. In the 1950s, Donald Don Hutchinson of Kansas City was among the brightest open wheel stars of Kansas City area tracks and all across the country in first motorcycles. Hutchinson won in big cars, sprint cars, and midgets. Hutchinson's path to racing occurred when he moved to Kansas City in 1949 from Joplin, Missouri. The 19-year-old became a welder shortly after at a local motorcycle shop. During the early 1950s, he started racing motorcycles in the AMA until serving in the United States Army during the Korean War until 1954. For 1954, Hutchinson became one of the top racers in the AMA, riding his own bike. Wins and top performances came on all types of surfaces and lengths, from short track to mile, from TT steeplechase to road course. Don was so prolific that 1954 season he won 30 events in the sprint division, in the expert division, while finishing second to future IndyCar champion Joe Leonard for the national title. Don would race and win at tracks including Olympic Stadium and Lakeside Speedway. In 1955, Hutchinson would return to the AMA to finish sixth in the national standings before making the leap to open wheel cars on a full-time basis that summer. Don had dabbled in four-wheel racing up to this point, but his car racing aspirations changed after the death of good buddy and 1954 IMCA sprint champ Bob Slater, who was killed running his sprint car in June of 1955. After Slater's passing, Kansas City's Bill Mansell would buy Slater's mount and install Hutchinson as his driver. In only 14 starts with IMCA that season, Hutchinson would become one of the most exciting and competitive drivers on the circuit. Crowd-pleasing runs against the likes of Grimm, Judd Larson, and Pete Folsey, among others, led Hutchinson to a sixth-place points finish and the coveted IMCA Rookie of the Year honor for 1955. Concentrating on sprint cars for 1956 while also racing in midgets and motorcycles, towing often across the nation with his sprint car on the trailer and the motorcycle in the bed of his truck, Hutchinson rolled into the North Central Kansas Fairgrounds for a Memorial Day showdown with IMCA. 6,000 fans showed up at Belleville High Banks that afternoon to see the community driver put on a performance to remember, setting a new track record in the 25-lap feature. In 1956, further results for Hutchinson and his followers were both exhilarating and just as equally heartbreaking. Racing at Lakeside Speedway and IMCA competition, Hutchinson would set two new world records in what they then called 2-mile and 4-mile. Hutchinson's win and record set in the Bob Slater Dash, the first race named in honor of his fallen friend killed the year before, almost brought the KC racer to tears, reported the Kansas City Star. The KC racer would also win back-to-back midget races, driving for Lee Sloan in his Offie at Lakeside that summer in KCMARA action. And after a bad wreck at the Nebraska State Fair and IMCA competition, Hutchinson would win back-to-back sprint car races at the Clay County Fair in Spencer, Iowa. On the last day of his short but incredible racing career, Hutchinson, along with friend and future racing star Carl Williams and mechanical guru Cecil Taylor, would make the trip from Kansas City to race the Mansell Offie at the Kansas State Fairgrounds in Hutchinson. During the first heat, Hutchinson, who led throughout, was going into the third turn on the final lap. However, a young and talented driver, A.J. Foyt Jr. of Houston, Texas, was hot on his heels. The two cars made contact. Foyt spun to a stop after hitting the wall. He would be okay. Foyt was okay. Hutchinson, meanwhile, flipped wildly out of the park as the crowd gasped, watching the horrible accident. The driver with so much promise and just the year before named the IMCA Rookie of the Year succumbed to his injuries at the age of 27. He left his wife and two children, Donald Wayne and Roxana, both 1 month after she was born, 1 month after his passing. In fact, Hutchinson was so popular in the Kansas City area, a benefit race to raise money for the young expectant mother and family was held at Lakeside Speedway, where he had starred first in motorcycles and later sprints, as well as midgets. George Bennett, then proprietor at Lakeside, issued this statement: "Don brought national fame to our track with his car and his cycle, capturing the hearts of all who saw him at Lakeside. In a short but spectacular life, he certainly did." Ladies and gentlemen, here to expect the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame Award tonight on behalf of Don Hutchinson is Dale Davis. The presenter tonight, C.A.R.B Hall of Famer Jerry Stone. Ladies and gentlemen, our newest member into the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, Don Hutchinson. Okay, Don is going to accept. Okay, come on forward.
Jerry Stone.
And Jerry Stone will be the presenter. Well, Don, glad you're here tonight, Don. Your dad was he raced motorcycles and sprint cars. Just, what do you think his first love was?
I think the motorcycles. Yeah, he was in the top 10 nationally ranked. It's sponsored by Harley. So, dinner with Mr. Davidson. Mom told me about that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, all of his trophies were either a bike or a car. His mom has got most of them. I've got a few of them.
And of course, when he got into the sprint cars, the open wheel cars, how much of a transition was that? I mean, he raced the motorcycles and then get into four-wheel cars. That had to be a little bit of a transition for him, did it not?
I would think. I never really heard that much. I was about a year old, so I wasn't understanding a whole lot. I did help him one day, Mom said, with, he was working on something, so I was picking up the nuts and bolts and sticking them into my mouth. So he kind of yelled at Mom to come get me. So.
What did your mother, what were her biggest memories?
There was one story that she liked to tell us. So she's out watching Don race. It was a motorcycle race, and they had some friends in there too. And the one guy, I can't remember his name, but he had a wooden leg. And he still raced, and he was very, very good at it. But he dropped his bike somehow. He crashed. Well, evidently, a whole lot of people in the crowd didn't know he had a wooden leg. So where Mom was sitting, the guy, he picks his bike up. It can run. Picks his leg up, throws it over the seat, and goes back to racing. Mom said the girls around him were fainting left and right. I kind of like that story.
That is, I mean, of course, you were only one at the time, so you wouldn't know a lot. You just have to be told all these stories. What were some of the other stories that other people told you about your dad?
Never really heard him. Yeah. So we went out to a few races afterwards, but that was pretty much it. Kind of shied away from it. Dale Davis, Mom's brother, went to a lot of them and followed them around. The story about getting lost, yeah, evidently that happened a few times.
Did you become interested in racing yourself? Talk about your experiences around. Are you a fan?
Yes. I did think about it. I love the dirt bikes. I started running when I was 15 and a half. But that was around town and out of town, and eventually I was a single parent, so I came too close too many times, figuring that Dad was right over my shoulder. There were a number of times I should have bought it, but something happened and I didn't. So after a while I gave it up because I didn't want to make my daughter an orphan.
Well, your dad showed a lot of promise, winning the Rookie of the year before his passing. So had he lived, I mean, it's hard to say how many races he would have won in both motorcycles and open wheel cars. He really showed that much promise early in his career, didn't he?
Yes. And I think had he had lived, I probably would have followed in his footsteps. He would have really liked that. Was still interested in it.
What this means to the Hutchinson family to have your dad going into the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame?
This is totally awesome. We're quite proud of this. I guess very, very fortunate, but I think he's earned it. I think they've all earned it, but this is very nice.
Hey, before we go, you had to travel a ways to get here. You from Arizona?
Arizona, yeah, we flew out here.
Tell us about who's all with you here tonight.
Well, my sister Roxanne is sitting over there.
She was born a month after your dad's passing.
Yes. Two of her kids are over there. It's Justin and Jordan. And her husband's here. And I forgot her name. Justin's girlfriend is here.
Roxanne, do you mind standing up? Just be recognized. There he is. Congratulations. Any final thoughts?
We're very happy to be here, and thank you for doing this, and thank you for inducting him.
Congratulations.
All right, well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our newest Hall of Fame member, Donald Hutchinson. Charlie Schinkel was born July 11, 1942, during World War II. By the age of 12, to help his family out, he would do odd jobs that included mowing, painting, and trash removal. It was during this time in the early 1950s he would meet the power Junior Howard, one of the top racers in Kansas City at the time. Charlie was fascinated watching Junior working on cars at his garage. He himself hoped someday to be a mechanic or a racer. Charlie started off simply enough, cleaning parts for Junior to earn extra money while soaking it up like a sponge, anything Howard said about racing. Charlie also met Jerry Weld during this time at Howard's garage, and Weld took an interest in Charlie just as Junior did. Junior would eventually make Charlie part of his race team, and Charlie was able to go to the pits with Howard's race team after his mom signed a waiver because of his young age. Meanwhile, Jerry Weld, who had taken a shine to Charlie, would offer him a summer job for $40 a week and lunch, which became a full-time job eventually. After working for the Welds for a while, Schenkel developed a big urge to race and bought Jerry's 91 Super while getting a spot in the Weld garage to work on his new ride. Charlie would race at the local tracks, including Riverside, Olympic, Topeka, and Sedalia. His pit crew was Junior and Buster Howard. Schenkel never rose to the level of Junior or Jerry as a racer, but he certainly gave it his all. Charlie was credited with winning at least 15 heat races and at least 6 B features. He had many top tens running against the likes of the Welds, Bob and Ken Williams, Johnny Boy Backlund, and others, but never got that elusive first A feature win. But he did, however, get the Most Improved Driver award at Olympic for 1966. He also had several drivers race for him, including Fast Eddie Levitt, Tiger Bob Williams, Jerry Weld, Whitey Harmon, J.L. Cooper, and Dick Sutcliffe. Since his retirement as a racer, Charlie has also been a walking, talking encyclopedia for KC Racing and is enjoyed by racers and fans alike for his knowledge of the sport. He's well known here in the Kansas City area. Here to present the award to Charlie tonight is Linda Weld. Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee into the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, Charlie Schenkel. Please come forward. Stand right up.
There you go. Congratulations. You hold this. You hold that. What? You hold that for me.
Yeah, Charlie, congratulations to you. What does this mean for you? You've been around Kansas City for a long time. For you to go into the Hall of Fame.
I'm glad, but I've had a little trouble, so I can't talk.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
And Charlie, we all want to offer our sympathies to you. I know you've had a terrible loss here in the last week or so, but just I know everybody is sending prayers to you, and you know our sympathies to you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Charlie Schenkel a big round of applause.
I took her mom to the doctor for her.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. Chester Chet Hanby Jr. started his career in racing at the age of 21 in 1952. Born June 26, 1931 in Austin, Texas, Chet would go to the Golden Speedway in the Sky at the age of 30 in 1961. What happened in between was short but very significant for the young racer, with great promise and a life that was cut way too short after becoming a husband, father of 4, and skilled racer in modified stock cars, sprint cars, and super modifieds. Moving from Austin to Kansas City around 1949, Chet Hanby first put on a helmet in 1952 at Oklahoma City's Taft Stadium. From the start, Hanby showed well against the competition. A first feature win at Taft was followed by victories later at Coffeyville, Kansas, and Casey's crown jewel of racing at the time, Olympic Stadium. In 1955, Chet set a new track record that had been previously held by 1955-56 Indy 500 winning car owner Jack Zink of Tulsa, Oklahoma. In 1956, Hanby found winning his first ever 50-lapper at Olympic Stadium on September 12, 1956, and then another the next week, which also included a bonus after he stopped a winning streak held by Judd Larson. Hanby was still going strong in 1961 when he captured a feature win at Olympic Stadium. Unfortunately, this was his last victory in competition before being killed in August of the Mid-America Fairgrounds driving a super modified. Reportedly, that was the first fatality at the Topeka Half Mile since 1933. In a great show of respect and honor, Chet Hanby was memorialized with Bob Colt, Danny Kruger, Judd Larson, and Ken Williams at a memorial race at Riverside in MAARC competition in 1971. The winning trophy is in possession at the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame to this day and is currently being displayed at the Casey Automotive Museum in the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame section. Here to accept the Hall of Fame award tonight is Chet's daughter Teresa, and presenting the Hall of Fame award to Chet's daughter Teresa is C.A.R.B Hall of Famer Bob Baker. Chet Hanby, our newest Hall of Famer. That's fine. Well, congratulations. Can you tell us what this means to your family?
It means a lot. I really want to I have laryngitis, sorry. Anyway,
That's fine.
I'd really like to thank Ed Sanders because he went above and beyond and had a lot of obstacles finding out stuff. So, I really like to thank him, and I'd like to thank everybody that presented me with this. Yeah, my brother passed away from COVID 2 years ago. I wish he was here. He would really like this.
Well, I know. Yeah, we've all had that laryngitis. Trust me, we'll let you rest that. But congratulations to you and your family, and this big deal to have your dad in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Teresa, representing Chet Hanby Jr., our newest member of the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Karen?
Okay, everybody, guess what time it is? It's time to eat. Okay, are we all ready? Pete? Okay, how we're going to do this is we have 4 lines, guys, 4 lines. So we'll start 2 lines, one on each side going this way, and 2 lines starting at the end down there coming this way. Okay, and then you're going to meet at the middle and come through. okay? So I'm not going to sign no tables or anything, just everybody get up whenever. Be courteous, okay?
Push him to the wall.
Fred Broski. Fred Broski. If I bring down the cordless microphone, would you say a prayer for us for?
From Windsor, Missouri, who raced from age 20 in 1955 until the age of 78 in 2013. A.C.A.R.B was born during the Great Depression in 1934 on the family farm outside of Windsor. After serving in the U.S. Army, Shorty worked at the local Chevy dealership as a mechanic for several years before starting his own business, A.C.A.R.B Auto Service. In between, A.C.A.R.B would start his career in racing in 1955 running jalopies before moving up to the late model division, as well as starting in and what would be typically considered the B modified at the time. From 1970 until his retirement from racing, A.C.A.R.B would run with A.C.A.R.B Lynn Motorsports, a gifted mechanic. Shorty would work on cars all day and then return at night to work on his race car. The Army veteran would run with clubs that included IMCA, NASCAR, MLRA, and CMRA. And according to his nomination history, A.C.A.R.B won a whopping 714 feature events. Think about that, folks. 714 A feature events, and 14 times was called a Missouri State Champion. Over his 58 years of competition, A.C.A.R.B competed at 142 tracks in 15 different states, including Missouri and Kansas. Shorty came up short very little during his prolific career in motorsports over the many decades while making himself a Show Me State racing legend. And here tonight, Shorty A.C.A.R.B is a Hall of Famer. Ladies and gentlemen, here to accept the Hall of Fame award is Shorty's son, Kurt. And to present the award tonight, Rick Darling is here to present, Hall of Famer Rick Darling, to present the award to Shorty A.C.A.R.B. So, Kurt, please come forward. Congratulations, wow, what an honor. You know, if Shorty A.C.A.R.B is not a Hall of Famer, then who is?
That's
I mean, what a career.
Right. Yeah, 58 years is a long time to turn a car, you know. Working on them every night, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, racing 3 nights a week. He put a lot into auto racing for sure. So,
What made him a good racer? He was a great driver.
well, he built his own cars early back in the day. Of course, everybody did. But working at the Chevy garage, he always knew what parts would fit what would do what he wanted them to do, and you know, he just always made it work. But you know, he was always a good driver, smooth. That means everything.
Yeah, I think of the years that I watched your dad race, I never heard anything bad said. I mean, I didn't hear about said bad about your dad.
No, not that I ever remember. Fan favorite everywhere we went. multiple tracks, always fan favorite. Every time his name was announced, they was hooping and hollering for him for sure. So obviously that always went a long ways with him. The kids always just praised him, So.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't always happen. When you win all the time, you're gonna have your detractors out there, but I never saw many shorty acre detractors.
I know we'd load that trailer on Thursday night or sometimes Friday afternoon, get ready to go, and I always knew I had to have black marker pens and ballpoint pens because he was going to sign a lot of autographs.
I remember back in the 90s, Sammy Kershaw, one of the top country artists at the time, sponsored your dad's race car. How big was that?
Oh, that's huge for us, quite the honor. He was supposed to come and drive the car that day, just a little expedition because he was going to be singing at the state fair that night. And it worked out where he was coming across the track and he looked and seen it was dirt, and he'd never been in a dirt car before in his life. So he backed off. But we tried to get him to try to drive it. But then it worked out to be a little sponsorship. So we got that for, I think it was 4 or 5 years we had his name on the car. So that was really nice.
We know he loved that Missouri State Fair Speedway and Sedalia. What are the other racetracks he loved to race at?
Well, State Fair was his favorite, of course, still was, even when they wasn't running. But Joplin Speedway was a good one that he run at, Lebanon I-44 when it was dirt, and then, of course, Lucas Oil Speedway when they opened up. Matter of fact, if I remember right, I think before Lucas had the track, Dad won the very first late model feature, the very first night out at and I don't remember what they called the track before Lucas Oil, but
Wheatland Speedway.
Wheatland Speedway, there you go.
He raced for many, many decades, saw a lot of changes in these race cars, but he kept up with it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he studied harder on any of it, I mean, he'd be on the phone trying to talk to some people, I mean, we had a lot of people help us toward the end. Bill Fry, he was probably one of the best things that helped us. We went with GRT back early in the days, and then, we got into some other cars and whatnot, but Bill always helped us a lot. So, that was always a big name. And, of course, he raced with a lot of guys, that moved into NASCAR. Schraers, Carl Edwards, he never did run a late model with us, but anyway, he was running a modified. And I remember when Carl was just a little kid, running around and passing out business cards. So it's something to remember. But yeah, no, it was a good time for sure, and we've got some family here with us. We've got...
Talk about who all's here.
Well, you mentioned Baker and Lyons Motorsports. Clyde Lyons and Karen Lyons and Todd's here tonight. They helped with us. Part owners in the cars, helped the cars, was there at, 99% of the tracks. And we started in 71 with them. And I think we raced up to about 2018 or so. So, I mean, over 40 years with the same team. So that's family right there. So, and then, of course, we got nephews and son-in-laws and everything else. Or not son-in-law, I guess. But I guess it'd be a brother-in-law. Got him into racing, but that was one thing Daddy always helped everybody. If they needed help, they'd bring the car down there to Windsor and we'd work on their car, scale it. They'd leave at 10 o'clock at night and we'd roll ours in and work on ours. So he helped a lot of people.
Who were your dad's biggest rivals out there on the racetrack? The guys he really had a tough time beating?
Oh gosh, I mean, I wouldn't even have a clue where to even start. I mean, there was always, all of them was rivals, but all of them was friends, Never got into squabble at all. I mean, I remember, and of course I was a little kid, so I don't even know what year that would be, but anyway, I remember him being upset one time, and that was at the Flagman, but that lasted 15 minutes, and that was the end of that. But, I don't know, he just never had any troubles with anybody, I mean, we always had a good competition with everybody, Sedalia, of course, was his main gig, and Randy Murrell was always tough. Randy was a great racer, and of course he's no longer with us, but, he did a real good job.
I always heard the saying, I'll race you the way you race me, or vice versa. Your dad lived that, he raced people the way he wanted to be raced.
Yes, he did. I mean, like I say, I've never seen him do anybody dirty. I mean, there may be somebody out there that would probably call me out on it, but, even if somebody, and, when he was back winning all the time, I mean, if we didn't come home with the trophy, there was something wrong, but, even back in the day, a lot of people would drive him dirty just because they needed outrunning that night, and he never would return the favor. So,
final thoughts about other people that were big in his life, his influences, people that really helped him throughout his career.
Well, once again, Clyde Lyons, Clarence Lyons, Todd Lyons, Their whole family, like I say, they meant everything. We wouldn't have made it that far without them. So they was a huge help. But Kenny Schrager, you know, he always would come by and stop by, still does when he sees me, you know. He'll still come by and talk a little bit, you know. So, I mean, those were his biggest influence, I think.
Final thoughts about what this really means to the Acre family?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue. Ed Sanders, which I don't think he's here today, but anyway, he helped us get this up and going. We had no idea how to even do anything. You know, I know he was very well deserving of it. Wouldn't have a clue how to go about doing anything like this. So we appreciate everybody that voted for him, and I think it's well deserved, you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, there, Kurt Acre, Shorty Acre, our newest member of the Hall of Fame tonight. Awesome. Before we continue further, Ron Covell, come on up. Did we find Junior?
Thank you, Kurt and Karen, for letting me come up, interrupting. My name is Ron Covell. I'm associated with the Belleville High Banks, and early this year, I had already known that a friend of ours was going into the Belleville Hall of Fame. And four of his friends, decided to do something nice for Junior Parkinson. One of the persons that was involved in this is no longer with us. She passed away 2 weeks ago. That was Heavy McNish's sister, Vicki. So tonight, in honor of Junior going into the Belleville Hall of Fame, I want to present him from your friends a plaque, and congratulations to you. Thank you very much. This was from Vicki, Heavy, and me and Marianne.
Well, thank you guys very much. Yeah, Vicki was such a great lady. Loved to be around her at the races, and when we had our dinners and stuff we'd do, she was always one of the laughs of the parties. And Heavy has been a friend of mine for a long time. And Ron, Marianne, got to know him very well. But yeah, Vicki's passing is going to leave a lot. Our dinners are not going to be near as what they were, but thank you very much. And it is a great honor to go into the High Banks Hall of Fame. My dad's there. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
How about that? C.A.R.B Hall of Famer Junior Parkinson, too. Great honor. A familiar face that tracks around Kansas City for many decades, Mike Kempton has a background in racing that has few equals. According to his racing profile for the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, Kempton has been associated with the sport of auto racing for almost 60 years, from the 1960s to the present. That of itself is very impressive, but it's Mike's body of work that really captures your attention. Kempton has been involved in racing as a driver, owner, crew chief, mechanic, car builder, engine builder, fabricator, and on the opposite side of the tower, as an official. Locally, Mike has been involved with tracks that include Lakeside, I-70, Riverside, Olympic, the State Fairgrounds in Sedalia, the Mid-America Fairgrounds, Heartland Park, Shawnee, aka Topeka Raceway, and CMS, while working with drivers Terry Bivens, Super Joe Wallace, Troy Backlund, and Andy Claiborne. Mike recently helped Chad Freewalt and his daughter Morgan and their open wheel race teams. Mike Kempton's racing resume includes serving as crew chief at the biggest venues, including Daytona and one of the smallest but also prestigious, the Chili Bowl. And during his time with NASCAR, has shared a shop with Richard Childress while working with stock car driver Joe Ruttman, the younger brother of Indianapolis 500 winner Troy Ruttman. Traveling across the United States and even venturing into Canada, Mike's racing experiences have included time with NASCAR, but also USAC, ARCA, ASA, Power I, MTRA, MWRA, the All-Star Midget Series, SCCA, and the Central States Midget Series, among others. Mike Kempton has worked on every type of race car, from stock cars to sprint cars, midgets, and sports cars on dirt, pavement, and road courses. He's done it all. Mike Kempton has tonight added a big part of his life, and that has become a member of the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame. Presenting the award tonight to Mike Kempton is Hall of Famer John Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage our newest member of the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame, Mike Kempton. Go ahead and take a couple of pictures there. Mike, what a great honor. I've known you a long time. I've seen you at every racetrack I've ever been at. So you've been involved in just about everything known to man. First of all, how did you get started in racing?
That happened when my father was, when I was growing up, he was in the Sports Car Club of America. And he ended up being the treasurer and putting on races in like Lake Garnett and Independence and little airport circuits back then. And he would have to sign in all the drivers. And so I met Carroll Shelby and all the great road racers back then.
Carroll Shelby was played by Matt Damon in that great movie Ford versus Ferrari. Carroll Shelby, I've heard a lot of great stories about him, that he was pretty helpful to a lot of people. What?
Oh yeah, yeah, and all his drivers like Dave McDonald would show up at Lake Garnett and win the race, and the Chaparrals were there, and all the great road racers back then.
And your variety of experiences, I mean, is far and wide. You know, road racing, dirt racing, pavement race. What was your favorite type of racing?
It turned out Daytona. It turned out we did better at Daytona than anywhere else. We had a third, an eighth, a ninth, a 10th. Never finished out of the top 10 at Daytona, including the Daytona 500 in '76. We led it twice and ended up 8th.
And the driver was?
Terry Bivens.
Terry Bivens.
And then the next week, we went to Richmond and finished 5th, which, they thought it was only the second time I'd ever been to a NASCAR track. So it was kind of interesting.
Terry Bivens, who's also a C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. A lot of people thought he should have been Rookie of the Year in 1976. You would agree with that?
He won it on paper, but lost it in a committee.
Politics.
Politics, yeah.
Talk about some of the other people that you've been associated with. I know Richard Childress is one, right?
Yes. We ran this 76 Daytona 500 and finished 8th. And we called up Bill Moyer, who owned the car, Billy Moyer's dad. And he said, "What do you want us to do?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, there's a race next week in Richmond." I said, "Well, keep $1,000 and send me the rest of the winnings and go run Richmond." So our budget was $1,000 to run a NASCAR race. And we drove from Daytona to Winston-Salem and rented half of Richard Childress' shop and worked out of there for 3 months. So it was kind of interesting back then.
Finance is a lot different today, isn't it, than 1976?
Sure. We couldn't run unless we won tires. Back then, you could win tires. The top 16 cars won tires. So we had to qualify good enough to win tires. And we'd trade a new tire for 4 used tires. So if we won 4 tires, we'd get 16 by trading them. And during the race, we'd get the tires coming off the other cars. And we'd get our 16 tires that way. And we were at Rockingham one time, and they came up and they said, there isn't a good enough tire to put on again, you know, and we had to stay out there until there were some.
Talk about your time as a driver. You drove cars for a while.
Right, I drove 4 cup races, and I kind of decided that I was better off working on the cars and maintaining them or racing them or owning them or taking them to the track. So I had, like Joe Wallace and Terry Bivens and Craig Spetman and Troy Backlund and Bob Bondurant, the road racer. They all drove my cars to different races and all over the country. So it was kind of funny. One time C.A.R.B called up and said, we're having a banquet in November. And they said, how many tickets would you want? I said, well, we're racing Ontario Motor Speedway that weekend. We can't come. So it was kind of interesting.
You've been on a lot of different racetracks. I mean, a lot of different kinds of racing. You're still involved with racing, aren't you?
I try to help Chad Freewalt and Morgan Freewalt and Dustin Gilbert and A.J. Gilbert and whoever needs help.
What are the biggest changes through all the years that you've been in? 60 years, that's a long time. What's the biggest changes?
Just the cost of it. It was back at when we were running NASCAR, you could live off what you were making, and now you got to have multi-million-dollar financing or sponsors.
You even worked at a time as an official. Tell us about that.
Well, I was an official at Lakeside and I-70, both tracks part of the time. And that was when Larry Phillips was running for national champion, and he was national champion 4 or 5 times while I was the official there at the track.
We had Jamie Hager tell a Larry Phillips story. Can you tell a Larry Phillips story?
Well, he won the national championship, and the Winston West was going to run a race in Japan. And I called up the Winston West director and said, could we run that race too? And he said, yeah. Said, we're going to put cars on the transporters that bring Toyotas and Hondas here and take the cars back to Japan. Well, it turned out the Japanese mafia owned the track, and the government confiscated the track before we could race. So that was kind of a disappointment. And then again, Troy Backlund won a deal, national racing, a tryout kind of deal, and we had a deal to run in Australia, run 5 races there too. And turned out there, Australia had a requirement that you had to post the value of the car and all your equipment so that you wouldn't leave it there and sell it. And you had to post a cash deposit, and it was so much that we ended up not doing it. But that was another close call in international racing.
Who are some of the other race car drivers we haven't already talked about you've worked with over the years that's been a big influence?
Probably Bob Bondurant, the road racer. I had a driver, and I sent him to the Bondurant School of Racing, and he got to be a good friend of Bob's. So we ended up having him drive the car at Riverside and Phoenix, Arizona. And before we went to Sears Point, where his school was, and I got up there, and I'd called Shelby Goodyear and said we needed some tires to practice on that were going to be the same as Riverside. They never sent them, so we get there, and the only tires I had were Talladega tires, which are the narrowest and the hardest and the tallest tire there is. And he went out and drove the practice on that. And then when we went to Riverside to qualify, Terry Labonte blew a motor up before we qualified, and he oiled down the whole track so he would have a better starting position. Well, Bondurant, since he'd been on the hard tires all the time, was used to the car being completely out of control all the time. He went out and set a faster time than any of the other racers the rest of the day. And we ended up running that with Bondurant. And then we went to Phoenix the next week and raced. And he led the race there also.
You got a group of people here to help you celebrate this tonight. Talk about the people at your table tonight.
Well, there's Tom Sapelli. I met him at the World of Wheels auto show in 1977, and the next week we ran Darlington. So I'd known him since '77. Scott Allen is there, and he ran the mini sprints and the whatnot. And I helped him, and Chad Freewalt's there. We've been racing probably 10 or 12 years there. So. And then there's Morgan, his daughter, and her husband, Dustin Gilbert, and I helped them when he was running midgets, and AJ, his brother, also.
You're never going to quit not going to the racetrack, are you? You're going to continue to go, aren't you?
Yeah, my knees are not working real great, but the only other deal is a year ago my kidneys quit. So I've been on dialysis 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, and I got some transplant papers actually this week, and hopefully I can get a transplant if I can come up with a donor.
Well, God bless you, Mike. Congratulations to you. How about a hand for Mike Kempton, folks? Final words?
Let's go racing.
Let's go racing. Thanks, Mike. Congratulations. Mike Kempton. Lester D. Zellmer was born in 1935. Yes, Karen. Okay. Lester D. Zellmer was born in 1935 and raced in the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s in modified, supermodified, champ dirt car, and sprint car competition. Over the years, the resident of Lee Summit, Missouri, was involved in racing as a driver, car owner, and mechanic. He built his own engines under a shade tree when he didn't have a garage, and he worked with other racing personnel that included Bob Carney, Larry Christie, Bill Huffman, and Luther Brewer, among others. Early influences for D in racing were Brewer, who he crewed for and learned from, as well as the great Hall of Fame sprint car driver Eugene Judd Larson. Over the years, Zellmer would become a staple, racing at tracks including Savannah, Sedalia, Bethany, Riverside, the Old Lakeside Speedway, Chillicothe, and Topeka. He also ventured out on the NCRA trail to tracks in Enid, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, along with Kansas venues 81 Speedway in Wichita and the Kansas State Fairgrounds in Hutchinson. Many of D's programs and articles were lost in a fire in 1985, but other info was generated for this bio, including winning the midseason modified title at 65 Speedway in Chillicothe in 1973. Winning the midseason championship feature at the Old Lakeside Speedway in 1977, as well as finishing in second place in the A-Class in Savannah in 1976, and winning the Sportsmanship Award at Savannah that same season in his modified. D. Zellmer also won the championship feature at the Northwest Missouri State Fairgrounds in Bethany on Labor Day. Here to accept the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame Award tonight is D's son Bill, and presenting the award to C.A.R.B Hall of Famer D. Zellmer, Lonnie Farley, who was just inducted into this Hall of Fame a year ago. So Lonnie Farley, come forward. Bill, to accept the award on behalf of D. Zellmer, our next Hall of Famer. Congratulations, just your first reaction, this big honor for your dad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I wish he was here to see it, but it's pretty cool.
And how much do you remember of his racing?
60s, late 60s, 70s, and 80s, all of it. It was great.
And he raced for a long time at a lot of different racetracks. Do you ever know what his favorite track was?
Tulsa, Oklahoma was probably his favorite. He loved to go fast.
And the sprint cars, you said, what was his favorite car?
Yeah, the sprint cars was his favorite car. He loved the dirt champ cars when they were around. He always said they were easier to drive because they're a little bit longer.
Did he ever talk about a favorite race, a favorite win, something that really sticks out?
I don't remember what year it was. It was in Hutchinson, Kansas in the Nationals, and he outran Harold. And he always thought that was pretty cool because he always looked up to Harold.
And, as far as influences for him, did he ever talk about who might have been his biggest influences?
He really liked Judd Larson, and Luther Brewer helped him a bunch. So it's probably Luther. So.
Yeah, that Luther Brewer is the big name that really sticks out. What was it about Luther that made him so big?
Well, he helped him in his shop there, and was it Drexel or somewhere down there? But he just helped him in there, and he helped him get started. So I don't know much about the story about it, but Luther's one mainly that helped him get started.
Who you got here to help celebrate tonight? Talk about the people at your table.
My mom and my kids, my wife, sister, brother, grandkids, Lonnie, Ron, so a lot of good people.
And final thoughts about what this means to the Zellmer family?
It's pretty cool. We just wish he was here to see it.
I trust he's looking down right now. He's having a good time.
Yep, I'm sure he is.
Well, congratulations, Bill. Thank you. Congratulations. How about it? Dee Zellmer, new Hall of Fame member to the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Karen, you got some more tickets you want to draw?
Okay, guys, get your blue tickets out. This is the last go-around, so good luck. Last three numbers is 493. Oh, Mr. Hutchison won it. Go to the back table. Okay, the next number is 536. 536. Oh, okay. 530. 530. Remember, I didn't draw these. 530, anybody? Oh, wrong level. Okay, 447. 447. One number away, Jamie. 2, 3. How'd you know? Oh. 447, who was that? Oh, Dee Dee Charles. Okay, 391. 391. Gary Truelove. Okay, 511, 511. Oh, Goober. Goober, go to the back and see Karen and Darren. Okay, Tracy will do it. 479, 479. Is that you? All righty. 388. 388. Okay. 489. 489. $489. Oh, okay. 501. 501. Okay, is that you? Okay. 535, 535. $535. Here we go. Lonnie Farley, how about that? The last, next to the last one is 399. 399. Do I have 399? No 399? Okay. No 399. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, here is the last one, and it's for 2 tickets to the Missouri State Championship, August 18th, 24, courtesy of State Fair Speedway, Larry McCowan. 5, 1, 2.
Oh, bingo!
Okay, the 50-50 should be coming up before too long, so we'll get going here. 50-50 is here. Okay. Get your 50-50 tickets out, guys. If you win, you get $315. Okay? The little one here, what's his name? The little what? Come up here. Come up here on the stage, come around. He's gonna draw the lucky number. Reach down in there real deep and draw a number. Okay? It's a green ticket. Okay, I'm going to read the last 4 numbers. 7, 8, 8, 6. Green ticket, 7886. Okay, if you don't want it, I'll take it. Oh, Lyle Farron. $315. Bring me your ticket. Thank you, guys. That helps us a whole lot. So, thank you, ma'am. Does that? How many tickets did you buy? Arm length. Arm length, guys, $20, got him $315. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Get all this away from you.
Congratulations to all the winners tonight, Miles. You too. Big night. Hey, we got 2 more people to induct. And this is big. The Alphabet Twins, Ken Cormack, JD, and Teresa Osman, T.O., have been known across the heartland as great ambassadors of auto racing for their work with halls of fame, philanthropic activities, and the willingness to always roll up their sleeves and get things done. That's what they do, especially with the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, including spearheading the ambassador program that we talked about a little bit earlier tonight. JD was born and raised in his native Texas, and we've become involved in racing in many capacities over the decades. He was a fixture at the local tracks and also had a long-time associations at major tracks as Belleville High Banks and Knoxville Raceway. With the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, Cormac has distinguished himself since 2008, wearing many hats that have included Vice President, Selection and Review Committee member, and co-leader with T.O. of the Ambassador Program, raising thousands of dollars for the Hall of Fame. But his stewardship hardly ends with the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Mr. Hall of Fame has also worked with and supported halls that include the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, the High Banks Hall of Fame, Amarillo, BCRA, and Arizona Open Wheel Hall of Fame, while also founding the Worldwide Race Fans, the WWRF, in July of 1992, whose mission was to collect and distribute funds on behalf of those killed or injured while performing or participating in dirt track racing. JD is a great supporter and dedicated fundraiser for the auction at the Chili Bowl since its inception in 1988, as well as fundraising for the Little Lighthouse 1988 through 1991, Parent-Child Center Tulsa, and in his younger days while serving his country with military service and picking up trash at Ascot Park in California, which allowed him to watch the races at the legendary facility. Now let's talk about T.O. Teresa Osman is the perfect companion and partner for JD in his everyday life and in his many racing endeavors. Osman always tries to stay in the background at any event or gathering, evading and dodging anyone who tries to take a picture of her, but her love for racing and people has made her an invaluable addition to the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame, as well as other halls of fame and racing philanthropies. Among T.O.'s accomplishments with the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame since 2012 include board member and treasurer, and co-leader with JD of the highly successful Ambassador Program, while also being involved with High Banks, BCRA, and Amarillo as a supporter, and the WWRF, the KC Automotive Museum, Racers at Rest, and Parent-Child Center, and with JD traveling across the heartland to present the traveling display at racetracks for the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, we close out our ceremony tonight recognizing two of the greatest, J.D. Cormac and Teresa Osman. To present the award to J.D. tonight is Dale McCarty, C.A.R.B Hall of Famer, and to T.O., C.A.R.B Hall of Famer John Backlund. So you two would come forward. And we'll just say this, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage our newest members of the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame, J.D. Cormac and Teresa Osman.
Photo time.
Finally. Move forward.
Step forward.
Wait a minute. Oh, hang on.
No kissing.
So who do I talk to first? Now Teresa's, she's leaving. Oh, she's getting a chair, okay. Got to have a chair for John. All right, Teresa, I'm going to talk to you first. Come on up here. Come on up. First of all, you know, I didn't think we'd get you on the radio this morning, but we did.
I know.
So,
It was by freak
yeah.
accident.
Now, you,
I want to, wait a minute, just a minute, hang on. Since we don't ever get a picture of this group, so, everybody's wave. Perfect.
Thank you.
It's all about the people, isn't it?
Exactly right.
Man, I know you don't do this work to get awards like this.
No.
You don't even think about that, but what does this mean?
Oh, it means the world to me. It really, words cannot express it. It truly can. I mean, I don't feel worthy of this because you guys are the ones that did the history. You guys are doing this, and it's just our way of paying back of what you guys did for us and putting that out there for everybody to enjoy. I just pray that the younger generation just appreciate what you guys have done for that sport. It's just amazing.
Well, it's like anything in life, you have to give back, don't you?
Yes, and that's where JD and I come in. We just want to give back to just a partial of what you guys done for us. And your words can never express it. So.
Somebody said one time, the more you give back, the more you give in return. The more you give, and without thinking a thank you, the more you get back in return. I'm sure you've experienced that.
Yes, sir, I have. Truly much so. Truly. I mean, I have John Backlund as a new son, and I mean, there's not too much more. And Dale, he's my future husband, I mean, so it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. Every day it's a new smile.
And you're in the same club as John Backlund and Dale McCarty. What do you think about that?
That is just, I'm speechless. I truly am. I tried to think of words that I could say, and all I could say was saying thank you. Just thank you for being you guys and being supportive, and so thank you.
Before I let you go, I want to talk about the ambassador program. Just kind of tell everybody what that's all about.
Okay, of course, with the Hall of Fame, we cannot do members, or membership. So of course, to keep the Hall of Fame going, and it's about preserving the history of everything and presenting it out to the public, which JD and I, we put this trophy, display table together. We take it out to the racetracks, and any donations, whether it's $1, whether it's $100, it doesn't matter. Every dollar helps to keep the promoting going, and getting the word out regarding the Hall of Fame. And as everybody if whatever you donate, it's no set amount, and it's not a yearly thing. It's when you feel like in your heart that you could give. And as you give each each coin, each dollar, it accumulates. And you'll start as an ambassador, you move up to a bronze, a silver, a gold, and into a platinum. And it's just a free will donation but at the same time, we want to recognize you. Within that process, we've developed and thanks Ray Cunningham with all his help, and he has already talked to a lot of you. We do the spotlight. We feature a Hall of Famer on the spotlight. And once a month, it'll go out. And it's not about what everybody knows about the person, but about what was special for that Hall of Famer during their career. And that little flyer is just a one-page flyer. It goes out once a month, and the ambassadors get it first. And then 2 weeks later, then I'll post it on Facebook as well. We get it on the website. Nowadays, there's so many times that you go out to the website and you read it, and then you get paper, and then you say, well, I already read it, and throw it away. You guys are special to us, and we want to do something special and get you the information first. You read it, and then we post it and let the world see it. It's just we're wanting, the whole thing about Hall of Fame is to know about the Hall of Fame. Well, you guys are the Hall of Fame. You are what created this. And what better way to get the word out to everyone is to get it out there, is to publicize it. And the ambassadors are our number one special people. In fact, JD and I, we're always coming up with new ideas. Once a year, we always come up with some kind of surprise that all the ambassadors will get. Whether It is a notepad, whether was with what year would do, pins with a spotlight or a little flash, but it's something special that the ambassadors will get, you know, and it's just this year we got something really cool that's going to be, it's in the process of getting worked out now. So it's just our way of getting back to you guys that are giving your dollar to support the Hall of Fame and help us keep the word going. So that's how, it's really dear to our hearts about it, so that's about I can tell you.
You got JD going in with you. I want you, and we're going to talk to him here in just a minute, but talk about the partnership that you've had with JD and just working with JD and all these endeavors.
Oh my goodness. JD and I, we've been friends since 1984. And in fact, my family room, table 7, was it 17, 18, and 19? I don't know numbers. But, okay, we have been friends since 1984. He had took my daughters out for the very first time on their 16th birthday. And every month, while our families grew and he grew, he always stayed in contact. So when my husband passed in 2004, and I retired in 2015, he gave me a call and he says, why don't you move to Kansas City, because we're in Topeka. And we moved to Kansas, I moved to Kansas City, and it's just been a beautiful friendship for the last 40 plus years. But it's been beautiful.
Awesome. Final words?
Oh, I think John might say something.
John?
Most of you guys know that this woman is a combination of Earth Angel and Energizer Bunny. She never stops. She's done so much for this club. She's helped so many in the racing family. I'm just very proud to call her mom.
That is sweet. Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Great. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Kurt. And thank you, everyone, for showing up. This is beautiful.
Awesome, Craig. Karen, you want to say something?
I just want to say one word. She's a hugger, too. So no matter what, she always comes up and hugs you once she knows you, so look out, guys. And we love her to death.
Thank you.
I've got one more thing to say. A lot of folks have thanked people that helped them during their racing career. I would like to thank Dale McCarty standing up here. When I first started racing, he'd already been around for 20 or 30 years. And I asked him for some advice. He said, John, just go out there and try to be fast and try to be smooth. And I came back in, I was pretty proud of my effort. And he said, John, that's too much smooth, not enough fast.
All right. JD, come on over here.
I'm almost speechless. I never seen it.
Wait, can you add to what T.O. has just said?
That was awesome. I thought about writing it all down and framing it. So, no, I was born in Texas, and of course, you either lean like the trees or the tumbleweeds, and of course, there's dirt. And I grew up, I was born later, and the family had a dirt garage building working on race cars. So I followed the dirt, and then I heard Junior Parkins already headed north, so I headed north. The greatest thing was racing all the way, and I've been around the United States. I just love it. It's dirt, and it's people, and it's family. And for generations, the memories to me, I mean, it's priceless. As you can tell by the photographs we have assembled, just posting stuff all the time, but I can't thank the families and the generations of their family for what they've given me.
You know, a lot of people that grew up here maybe don't have the same kind of appreciation as those that move here from out of state. I know Junior Parkinson's from Texas. He's come to Kansas City, but what is it that led J.D. Cormack from Amarillo, Texas to Kansas City? Why Kansas City?
Well, I think Junior was about as big as a tumbleweed, and he blew north, and I decided to follow a couple of years, but he's 2 years younger. But my father was transferred, and we ended up here, and I went back to Texas to graduate, and then my dad always told me,
Try everything once. If you don't like it, don't do it again, because you don't want to die saying you wish. I can guarantee everybody, I will not die. I've done everything I can think of. Thank goodness for this young lady. Both of our spouses passed. We came together after she raised the kids, and they were excellent kids. The whole family is just great. And we came together 50-50. I'm showing her she's been to 22 states now. But she's like a little kid at Christmas leaning on the dash. Click, going downhill. It just revived me altogether.
It takes that partnership to make this all happen, doesn't it? I mean, each of you brings certain aspects to making this all work.
That's true. That's true. Communication, John likes to say divide and conquer. We call it conquer and divide. So we are always splitting things up, and some days we have so much. We're caregivers, and one's going this way and one's going that way. We communicate. Communication's the biggest deal.
The Chili Bowl, you've been involved with fundraising efforts. The auction down at the Chili Bowl since 1988 raised a ton of money. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just kind of talk about that a little bit and how that's become the culture of the chili.
Well, I've been there since year one, and Lanny Edwards called me up and said, would you like to come to work with us? I said, but I don't want to invest. Biggest mistake I ever made. So now I've been there 34 years, but in year 4 we got bored, and we brought out some things and just had an auction, and probably raised $119. And then I was running around with J.W. Hunt, and somebody needed a basketball court, and next thing we had that. Don't ever put a basketball court together. It's a nightmare. But we started raising money. This is the 34th year we don't do the live auction anymore. We do a silent. This is the 34th year going to Tulsa Abused Children's Center. And like everywhere else we go, we try and raise money for that community, primarily children. So it's amounted quite a big deal. We just went over, I'm not bragging, I just had to say it, but we just went over $266,000. So, that's a lot of children.
Are you doing okay after that trip down there? You had a little accident down there. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm breathing. Today was rough because Mom wasn't around and I pushed it. But I'm doing good. I'm about 60% healed, and at least I don't scream anymore. In case you don't know, at the Chili Bowl, I come flying out of a trailer, and the last step loose, and I landed on a rail and I fractured 4 ribs. But I stood around 4 days with an arm tied down, making like I was okay. So.
What are the other things that we haven't already talked about that you're involved in a ton of different halls of fame? Just talk about some of the other highlights of what you've been able to do.
Just being around, Bob Baker brought it up one year, and a bunch of them talked to me about a side group, this and that, and somehow I ended up, I'm looking, everything I do, I'm looking, who, me? But Bob Baker's been a quite deal with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, and that's awesome. As many years been around there, but in the High Banks Hall of Fame is just a way to go. It's not going down the road waiting for everybody to go to Sturgis. We're going there to race. So, but we helped him out with auctions and do that. Amarillo in my hometown, we did that, and I got a family member Pioneer class inducted, and I realized here, my brother-in-law and my brother and everybody, it's lead steps. I got a cousin running the non-wing Infinity races in Texas, so I'm suddenly, my gosh, look at all the steps I followed, and I didn't even think about it. But it's just being there and the love of it. And like Ralph Parkinson was one of our drivers in '64, and he had a habit of going by, stopping by past inductees' house. I picked that up. Now we travel, we try and find the spouse of the inductee or the inductee and visit with them, because it seems like after they go on, we forget about them. But it's a blessing just to be able to do that.
Final words about what this means going in the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame.
Well, I had a hard time, thanks to Brian, but this, I wouldn't have voted for myself. But anyhow, finally sunk in, and once I read I was nominated, everybody has a right, and it's prestigious to be nominated, but to be inducted is just an honor. But look who I'm with. I'm just a small little deal compared to what we have out here in families. So, but then I hang around John Backlund and I see the age list going on, or Dale McCarty. So I'm hanging in there, but this was just a shock, just an honor. And I appreciate everybody that voted in silent ballots, and thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot do it all.
You know, the big thing, you're going to be part of that big picture from here on out that they took out there in the hallway.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Also,
I'm going to carry a cardboard stand-up next time, because I always lose T.O. every 15 minutes when I need her. So we're good. What a group here tonight, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
How about a nice round of applause for J.D. Cormack, T.O. Osmond, Teresa Osmond. We had our Hall of Famers, Dale McCarty and John Backlund, up here tonight, and all of the Hall of Famers that are here this evening. Great. Dale, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not on the back burner no more. Somebody caught me a few weeks ago, so the back burner is over.
Well, you're never on the back burner. You're still out there. You're still out there racing, aren't you?
Yeah, this will be my 71st year this year.
Yeah, you're not going to quit.
Yeah, I'm not going to quit.
All right, awesome.
We got 300 years worth of age.
There you go. And congratulations to all the other Hall of Famers that are with us tonight. Thanks for all coming out tonight. And that is it. The class has been inducted for 2023, 20th class of the C.A.R.B Hall of Fame. John?
Only my closest friends know I'm working security on this gathering. And I came here early, and as people were coming in, I asked a few of them for their identification. And everything was fine until Jerry Stone's wife walked up. And I said, "Ma'am, do you have any ID?" And she said, "About what?"
How about that? Folks, thanks for coming out tonight. Karen, final words. It's been a great night.
I just want to thank everybody for coming, guys. I hope you enjoyed the meal, hope you enjoyed the presentations, and we hope to see you again next year. Thank you. Good night.
Getting all in?
Karen, sorry. Make sure they take the things on the table.
Inductees, all of our inductees, the plaque that's on the table that has your name on it and what it is, that's yours. Please leave the table decorations, because we do use those again. But take your plaque that says your name and what all you did and who you're with.
Yeah.